Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the manga Yokohama Kaidashi Kikou and how this manga has a really creative way of storytelling. I'm just going to call it YKK for short because it's a long name. But anyway, YKK is a surprisingly literary manga. It follows a character named Alpha, who's a robot, and she's in charge of taking care of a cafe while the owner is gone. And that sounds very normal, except it's in a post-apocalyptic setting in Japan after society has kind of deteriorated and fallen apart. And you can see that nature is reclaiming civilization. As the series goes on, we're more and more often inside the head of the protagonist Alpha, instead of reading about her encounters and conversations with other people. We spend time with her and her thoughts as she goes about her day, in the same way that we might hear the thoughts of a character in a first-person novel. Although the first half of the manga is focused more on Alpha's interactions with the people who live around her cafe, after she takes a road trip around Japan, the manga starts to turn increasingly inward. The structure of the chapters is often similar to that of a haiku. For example, in chapter 113, Alpha is just sitting at a table, resting her head and looking out the window, when she seems to start reminiscing about a girl she used to know. In one part, she's telling the girl how she'd like to walk around the house and see the new leaves. The chapter simply ends with Alpha leaning up and whispering to herself, "I'm thirsty." It seems like nothing's happened, but the content and structure is similar to that of a haiku in the way that we are given a sensory detail of a time of year, and then in the style of the haiku master Kobayashi Isa, we are given a hint of the narrator's physical sensations, like feeling a cold wind. Similar to that of a haiku is that there's also no commentary. The chapter seems to have no purpose. It's focused particularly on a moment of time, a memory, an experience, and then it's over. A lot like a haiku, and a lot like life too. This inwardness of the manga is reflected in the way that the landscape starts to become more of a character that Alpha spends time with. A whole chapter might consist of nothing but Alpha looking at the sunset, feeling the wind blow the grass, and feeling sad or happy or relieved or at peace. All this takes place without any dialogue, but in these situations it's almost like the landscape itself speaks. Later, when Alpha takes her road trip, you see that post-apocalyptic Japan is being absorbed into nature. Just like Alpha sometimes feels her little world of the cafe is being absorbed by the trees, by the grass, by the wind. We are given the sense that nature is an uncontrollable force of change against which humans have no power. There's a character in this story called the Misago, who is basically a kind of supernatural being. Though the characters have sightings or encounters of the Misago in their childhood, but when they get older, they no longer have these encounters with the Misago, even though they can feel the Misago is still there. This character of the Misago is, in my opinion, a symbol for the lost innocence of youth. The Misago has the power to appear at will to whomever she chooses, but she only chooses young people. When everyone gets older, they wish to have another encounter with the Misago. Just like in the real world, each person wishes to hold on to the magic of childhood before the harshness of adulthood sets in, but they can't. So, if the Misago is a symbol for youth, then the enveloping nature is the symbol for adulthood, and ultimately, death. Eventually, all that mankind creates is subject to deterioration. Alpha and Kokone know that robots like them existed in the past, but are gone now. And even though they don't age, there will still be a time when they're gone, just like the cafe will one day be gone, and childhood will one day be gone, along with everything else. And all that remains is nature. These are aspects of the manga that I really appreciated. There were some things I didn't like. One thing I didn't like was how the robots share information with each other. In order to share direct thoughts, they can kiss each other. I found these scenes a little bit uncomfortable and unnecessary. It just seems like it trivializes the gay identity, and it just puts it in there for fan service, or I don't know. It just didn't seem like something that needed to be there. It wasn't enough to take away from my overall enjoyment of the manga though, and it's a pretty small concern overall. The manga is definitely not for everyone. A lot of people are going to find it boring, meaningless, uninteresting, without direction, and they might not be wrong. It's just that this manga is not for those people. Other people like me might enjoy the difference of pace this manga offers. They might enjoy the quietness of the characters, and they might enjoy the thoughtfulness of a simple breeze rushing through the grass or a beautiful sunrise. Did you have a similar reaction? Let me know down in the comments, and please don't forget to like and click subscribe.